Welcome back to another video. Today we got our Week 13 NFL game predictions. We got all 32 teams playing this week. That means 16 games of football. It's Thanksgiving week, so 3 games Thanksgiving. We got a Black Friday game, and then obviously a bunch of Sunday games, Sunday night, Monday night. You know, the usual stuff. So it's a very exciting video. It is unfortunate, though. We're not going to be having a standings update in this video. We're not going to be having anybody else's picks but mine because I'm actually recording this about a week in advance, so I have not seen a single Week 12 game. As I'm recording this, Thursday Night Football just started. The Bills are up 6-0, so I'm not going to know much. So obviously, if there's like a huge injury, some guys aren't going to be playing this week. So obviously, if teams look crazy good or crazy bad, that may end up changing my picks. But as of right now, here's what I got, and I didn't want to skip this week for you guys. I wanted to make sure we kept our streak alive of the Wednesday NFL videos. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off, first Thanksgiving game, Packers versus Lions, kind of a big one. It's also going to be a little bit harder to pick, just not knowing what the spread is on this game. So that'll be interesting. It's just going to be straight up, ball here from me and only me. The Packers-Lions, big NFC North matchup here. I don't really know what to expect in this one. Like the Lions, I said this last week, kind of been looking a little up and down, but same thing really with the Packers. Like I don't love the team either. I don't love how either of these teams are playing right now. I think the Packers have a very good defense. I think the Lions have a very good offense, and I think you could say that both. You probably would agree with that. Like these two teams feel like teams that should be a lot better than they are, but just watching them play, like the Packers have had some close games. They lost to the Panthers. They kind of snuck by against the Giants. Like I don't know, and same thing with the Lions. Maybe they're playing a little bit down. Like they put up 6 points against the Eagles. I know that was 2 weeks ago for you guys, but last week we'll see who's the Packers are playing the Vikings and the Lions are playing the Giants. I'd probably expect those two both to win. So this is going to be kind of a huge game for both of these teams. It's a huge game because the Lions, as I'm recording this, they're outside of the playoff race. I don't know if they may be in by the time this comes out. I'm going to take the Lions at home. I think they get the win on Thanksgiving at home. If this was in Lambeau, though, I may end up going with the Packers here. I just feel like the Lions are overall the better team, and the fact they get it at home really helps them out here. The next game we got on the schedule, Chiefs-Cowboys. Cowboys get this one at home. I've seen some people thinking the Cowboys may go on a run here. They're going to need to win this game if they want to continue that, in my estimation. Last week, the Cowboys played the Eagles. I think I picked the Eagles in that one. I'm not sure, obviously, what the outcome was. But if the Cowboys won that game, they'd be sitting at 5-5-1 right now. If they lost, they would be 4-6-1. So next week, this week, I think if you're a Cowboys fan, you got to win one of these games. And honestly, I don't see them doing that. I think the Chiefs are much more alive in the AFC for the playoffs than the Cowboys are in the NFC, just because the NFC is so good. And I think the Chiefs are just right on the outside. The Cowboys still have a lot of work to do. So I think this is more of a must-win game for the Chiefs. If the Cowboys lose this game, especially if they lost to the Eagles last week, then the Cowboys probably, may be done. They're going to have a really hard time getting back into the playoff race. And I think the Chiefs kind of know they got to start turning things on, and I think they will with a win here. They also play the Colts. The Chiefs played the Colts last week, so interested to see what the outcome will be in that one, because that's obviously a must-win game for them as well. Bengals-Ravens. I've seen some reports Joe Burrow has been practicing. I'm not sure if he played last week. I'd expect him probably not to, but you never know. Maybe I think Joe Flacco was questionable. But maybe for this week, Joe Burrow's back in, and if he is, I know Jamar Chase was suspended last week, so he should be back for this week. If Joe Burrow's back in, it may be all hands on deck for the Bengals, but honestly, I feel like the Ravens are trending upward. They're kind of trying to claw back in for their division. I think they're right now 1 game back, and if the Steelers lost this past week to the Bears, which they're currently underdogs, and the Ravens 13.5-point favorite, so the Steelers lost and the Ravens won, which is what I predicted last week, then these two teams would have the same record, 6-5, so the Ravens would be right there. I think the Ravens get a win on Thursday night at home. I think Lamar Jackson, hopefully he can figure it out because he's kind of been struggling, but the defense has been a lot better than it started this season. That was kind of due to a lot of injuries. So the Ravens, I think they're trending in the right direction. I'm going to pick them, but if Joe Burrow plays in this one, could be very interesting. And then we got the Black Friday game, Bears versus Eagles. All of a sudden, this is kind of like a huge NFC game. Two teams near the top of the standings. Both these teams are first in their division right now. Now, obviously, that could change. The Packers, Lions trail the Bears very closely. But as of right now, as of recording, they're 7-3. I think I picked them to beat the Steelers last week. So if they win that game, which it looks like they might with no Aaron Rodgers, now maybe he played and maybe he beat us once again. I'm saying us because I'm a Bears fan. For those of you who don't know, but I think there's a good chance the Bears could be 8-3 entering this game. The Eagles right now are 8-2. Last week they played the Cowboys on the road. That could have been a tough game for them. They could have lost that game. So this could be like for a 1 seed in the NFC. As crazy as that is to say, I know the Rams are right there as well. I think the Rams are 8-2 right now. I ultimately I worry about the Bears, man. They're squeaking by so many games. Every single game is a close one. I feel like they're just due for like maybe I don't know if I want to say a blowout loss. Caleb Williams has been so good in the clutch. If it's a one possession game in the fourth quarter and the Bears have the ball, the Bears very well may win this game. But I just feel like at home the Eagles will kind of run away with this one over time. Maybe Saquon kind of gets going. The Bears secondary does seem to be getting healthier, though, which I love, especially for a matchup like this, because the Eagles still, maybe they don't use them all that well, but they do have a lot of weapons. Moving on over to the Sunday slate, the 49ers versus Browns, going to speed past this one pretty quick. I'm interested to see how Shedeur Sanders played last week. It's so hard to pre-record this. But I feel like, either way, even if it's Shedeur looked good in this one, in last week's game, or if he was terrible, maybe Dylan Gabriel's back in, who really knows? I'm going to take the Niners. I think Kyle Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the league, and I think the Niners are maybe not getting talked about enough. They're a really, really solid team, and they're 7-4 right now. They could be 8-4. After this past week, I forget who they played. Yeah, they played the Panthers. They're favored by 7. So if you're looking at that, they're the favorite. They should be 8-4 heading into this, and I think a good chance to go 9-4. And they've done this with a lot of their team injured. Obviously Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, both out for the season. Offensively, they've been banged up all year, but they're finally getting healthy at the right time. I think the Niners continue to roll in this one. Jaguars, Titans. I just can't pick the Titans right now, man. They look like the worst team in the league. It's not really Cam Ward's fault. Like, he's been playing pretty well. He just has literally no weapons around him. The Jaguars have been kind of up and down all season, but I think the defense should be able to force turnovers in this one. And when they've been able to do that, they've looked pretty solid. So I'll take the Jaguars pretty easily here, even though it's on the road. Divisional game could be a little tricky. Texans, Colts. The Texans are currently giving the Bills kind of a fight. It is, still the first quarter, but it's 6-3. As we speak. I'm just going to keep giving you guys updates on this game. Obviously, you guys know what the outcome was. Maybe the Bills ran away with it. Maybe the Texans hang on. If the Texans find a way to win this game, that could be very interesting. The Texans would move to 6-5 then. The Texans, though, coming off a week of rest, I think there's a good chance the Colts may have lost last week to the Chiefs. The Chiefs in a must-win game. Maybe the Colts continue to roll, though. But the Colts were really hot. Then they had the bye. Played the Chiefs last week. I don't know what the outcome was. But there's a chance the Colts' momentum could be trending in the wrong direction. That could be a little concerning with the Texans. I'm assuming they get C.J. Stroud back for this game after the long week, because they played on Thursday night last week. So the Colts, it could be a little tricky. The Texans still have a very good defense. I think their defense is capable to just keep them in a game with really any team. But I'm going to take the Colts at home. I think they've been the more, the better team all season, the more consistent team all season. So I'll take them at home here to get that one done. Saints, Dolphins, two teams not really playing for much. The Dolphins, though, have been kind of looking better in recent weeks. They're on bye last week, so they've been kind of trending right. They're coming off the bye, fully rested. I'll take the Dolphins to get another win at home, move to 5-7 here. They're not playing too bad. So Mike McDaniel may be saving his job right now, which is crazy because he was I feel like days away from getting fired at a certain point in the season. But I think with another win, they could be. He could be sticking around. I don't know if Miami fans would be excited to hear that. Falcons, Jets, this will be an interesting one. Both these teams are making made QB changes last week. Kirk Cousins getting his first start. He got his first start last week. Tyrod Taylor is started for the Jets last week, so interested to see how both of those QBs end up playing. But honestly, I think the Falcons just have a lot more offensive playmakers. I know Drake London was out last week. I don't know if he'll be playing this week. In this game, obviously, but even without him, I think the Falcons should be fine. It's crazy to me that the Falcons' record is as bad as it is, though. I feel like talent-wise and just on paper-wise, the roster should be a lot better than that. But against the Jets, I don't see them losing. I mean, maybe. The Falcons haven't been all that impressive. Cardinals, Buccaneers. I said this last week. The Buccaneers played the Rams last week. The Rams are favored by 7 at home. So if we're just going off the favorites, and I did pick the Rams to win because the Rams look like the best team in the league right now, the Bucs could be sitting here at 6-5 going into this game. Maybe they are. Maybe they're 7-4. Maybe they beat the Rams. But I said last week that I think the Bucs after this Rams game, if they lost, I think they're going to start coming back around because we see this with the Bucks every year. It feels like they kind of struggle in the middle of the season, but to start the season, to end the season, they're always very solid. I think the Bucks, they're getting a lot of easy opponents coming up, and I think it starts this week. I think they get going in this one. It sounds like Bucky Irving will probably be back at least for this week. I'm not sure about last week, but it sounds like he may even have played last week. So I'd assume he probably plays this week. I think the Bucks are kind of fully healthy, getting ready to go. I think they start ramping up here towards the playoffs. The Panthers at home taking on the Rams. The Panthers all of a sudden 6-5. They played the Niners last week on Monday night. If the Panthers won that game, they would have the same record as the Niners, both 7-5. I don't expect the Panthers to win that game, but there's a real chance. I mean, maybe they could. They've been a really solid under the radar team this season. The defense has played very well at times. Bryce Young, for you guys at least 2 weeks ago, he threw for 400 yards. The Panthers have been playing really solid, but honestly, I just can't pick against the Rams. Like I said, they've given me no reason to pick against them. I've been saying this for the past few weeks. I feel like the Rams would probably be my team to win the Super Bowl, my pick to win the Super Bowl right now. And they just look they just look unstoppable. In all honesty, the defense is playing like one of the best defenses in the league. Offensively, Stafford's playing at an MVP level. You got so many playmakers: Puka, Devontae, Kyron, so many guys for the Rams. I think they get going and win this one, continue to roll. The Vikings versus the Seahawks. I don't love how J.J. McCarthy's looking. He in all honesty, he doesn't look great. The Seahawks as a team do look pretty great. I mean, the defense is maybe, besides the Texans, probably the best in the league. I mean, they're scoring so many defensive touchdowns. It feels like they're rushing the passer ridiculously well, defending the run very well. Sam Darnold's been playing very well. JSN has been absolutely ridiculous. Kenneth Walker got going. I don't know if he was all that great last week, but I know in week 11 at least he got going. So maybe I'd assume he had a pretty nice day. They're playing the Titans last week, so I'm assuming they won. But I'll take the Seahawks with all that being said at home. I think they're the much better team in this one, playing for a lot more. Bills Steelers, this could be interesting if Rodgers is in here. It sounds like he probably didn't play last week, but I'm hearing reports now that there's a chance he might, so we'll see. But honestly, with the broken wrist, is he 100% even for this game? The broken wrists don't heal that quick. The Bills, I'd assume they win this game on the road. I feel like it's kind of a, they're trying to get above the Patriots, and the Patriots just keep continuing to win because their schedule is just really easy, in all honesty. I mean, they weren't great last year, so I guess it's fair, but the Bills are trying to get up past the Patriots for, contend for that 1 seed, but it looks like, as of right now, they're the 5 seed, so they're going to need to continue to win. I think they do continue to win here against the Steelers, and with the Steelers' loss here, if they lost last week to the Bears, that would put the Steelers at 6-6, and the Ravens would actually be first in this division all of a sudden, so really, really crazy turn of events, but I kind of predicted that. I remember saying the Ravens, I think, will catch the Steelers eventually. It very well could be this week that they do so. I'll take the Bills. The Raiders-Chargers, we just saw the Raiders offense get shut down by the Cowboys defense on Monday night in Week 11. Last week, they played the Browns, so that's a very winnable game. I think I picked the Raiders to win that one. That could be interesting, but the Chargers coming off the bye, coming off kind of getting embarrassed against the Jags in Week 11. I think they bounce back in a big way here, have a big game all around. Maybe Omarion Hampton finally comes back. That would be really nice, especially for my fantasy team because he's been on the IR for quite a long time. So there's a good chance he could come back here coming off the bye. But in all honesty, I mean, they've had some injuries. I want to say Gadsden was a little beat up. I think he may have played against the Jags. But they get the full bye. They get their team fully healthy, hopefully ready to go. They got so many weapons offensively. The Raiders kind of do too, but I think the Chargers defensively, offensively, better on both sides of the ball. Just overall the better team. Coming off the bye at home. All signs pointing towards Los Angeles here. I'll take them. Broncos, Commanders. Not a great Sunday night game. I'm going to take the Broncos. They just keep finding ways to win. Their defense is ridiculous. They just came off a win against the Chiefs, and then they had a bye last week. So a lot of time to prepare for this Washington matchup. The Commanders also on bye this past week, I believe. So both these teams coming out of the bye should be well rested, ready to go. I think the Broncos, though, just by far the much better team in this one. I'll take them to get a win on Sunday night. And then the final game of our slate. Not a great Monday night game. Giants versus Patriots. Pretty obviously here I'm going to take the Patriots. Drake May's playing at an MVP level. This Patriots defense is just Absolutely, it's really good, man. They're really good at stopping the run. Travion Henderson's been getting going, so I hope that they keep using him. Jackson Dart probably back by this time at least. It sounds like he may play he may have played in Week 12 against the Lions, but if not, he'd be back for this game, I'd assume. So that could be interesting. Maybe he presents some trouble for just with his legs, but I think the Patriots. I said last week, I think the Giants may be better than the record maybe insinuates. They're 2-9 right now. They probably lost to the Lions last week if I had to guess, so they'd be 2-10. But I feel like the Giants are much better than that as a team. But they honestly, they just don't stop the run very well, and I think Travion Henderson's due, maybe not due, but yeah, I think he's in for another great game in this one, and Drake May is probably going to light up this defense. I mean, Monday night, it's not a great game. I'll take New England at home, continuing to win. They just have, it feels like they have a really easy team every week. But that's going to do it for the Week 13 NFL game predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down there, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If this is your first time watching, I promise it's much more exciting, much more, it's much easier to make these predictions when I know what happened the previous week. But like I said, I'm recording this before I've seen any of the Week 12 games, not even the Thursday night game, still in the first quarter. So it is very tough. We'll get a standings update next week for you guys for sure. We're going to have 2 weeks worth of games to update you guys on. So maybe there's some shake up there. But yeah, once again, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys on Monday with another college basketball Power 40 rankings. We're going to be back home, back to normal. So no more pre-recorded nonsense for you guys. But once again, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday with that college basketball video.